to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back. It is a Saturday afternoon, and I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho, and joining me today is Jeremy.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back, Jeremy. We were
glad to be here.
We were listening to the intro here, right? And I mute the microphones, and we kind of chat for whatever 40 seconds that is. You're kind of eyeing up my collection of stickers. Do you like that?
I do. I need to bring you some to add to it.
That was
need some beer stickers.
Let's give me some. That was built by I got one in the corner over there. Beer and boobs.
Oh, hey.
Beer for boobs. Beers for boobs.
There's a Twisted Tea one too. I'll get you some more.
Yeah. So I mean, this was pretty much. I stuck them onto the door, but this was built by listeners.
Yeah, I
remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, because
good job, everybody.
I had to cover those stupid dragonflies. I've almost got them covered up. So, and my fridge there is getting a nice collection of them on it too.
Yeah, my beer fridge at home has a nice sticker collection on it.
Does it?
I hate to see that day that it dies because I'll be sad.
That's when you take the door off and hang it on the wall. I mean, that's what you do. So I almost found a perfect refrigerator, and I was going to keep it out here whether it worked or not. And I should have went and bought it. It was actually the guy that's selling it was the guy that I believed owned Guppy's.
Okay.
Hot Rod Grill,
yeah.
Right? And I didn't go get it because I was kind of just too lazy at this point. But he had an International Harvester refrigerator freezer that was still working.
Oh.
Those things last for, and it was like $50. Like,
dude,
I should have bought it.
You should have. It
was
right in your wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, I was like, where am I going to put this thing? Like, I kind of wanted it to not work, and then I maybe like created like an ammo storage.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
cool.
Yeah, safe out. But it's like it worked, man. And I've got three deep freezers and one garage fridge already. Like I'm tapped out. Like I don't know where I'd put anything. And then I got this little tiny thing right here, which came with the house, and I think it's still working. Like
put it in the classroom.
Yeah, no.
Offer cold drinks.
Yeah, not those cold drinks. That wouldn't go well with the shooting class. So
sorry, we're gonna have to come back and shoot a different day.
That's right. You were gracious enough to come help me out in class today. Now it was this pretty small class, and I know if Magnum's listening, he usually comes, and Nick usually comes too. But this was a small class. I had contacted you first, so I'm gracious that they didn't. They didn't complain about having the day off and declare mutiny on me. So
it was warm out there. So
it was warm, but you know what? I tell you, the weather it was warm, but only warm for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and then we got clouds
and a little rain
and some rain, and it was actually freaking perfect.
It was a perfect Idaho afternoon.
The only thing that was unperfect about it was we needed a little bit of a breeze. That dust was thick.
Yeah, I was hoping that the rain would help settle the dust, and it wasn't a long enough rain.
Instead, it was Idaho rain. It rained long enough to turn the dust on the tables into mud.
Yeah.
Like it was it was pretty gross. But I don't know, good class, small class. There was like 7 people here.
Yeah, went super smooth.
Yeah, super quick. Like it went pretty quick. Like we were here our allotted time, but it went quicker than it normally does. Or it seemed, I guess it was smoother. It just, I don't know.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to kind of slow it down and work kind of with everybody.
More individual.
Yeah, individual. And, sometimes bigger classes, we don't always get to do that. So
yeah, I'm trying to think gun-wise if there's anything really cool. I know there was a gentleman, he had just got a gun at an auction. And he said he was an old Smith & Wesson, like the kind of guns I like. But this was in 40 cal. And it was I don't know what number, like a 6.9 something. It was a 40 cal, then the model that I liked. And he said that he got it at an auction. And what was he doing? He was trying to test something out or do something at the auction. He didn't even really want the gun. So he just put a bid on it thinking it would, And I don't know if he's doing it online. I'm not sure how he did it, but he put this bid on it thinking he wouldn't get the gun. Well, he got the gun for like $364.
Oh man,
I know, that's like
pretty
half.
good deal.
It's like half price what you find those suckers
Yeah.
for. And that
the thing was nice.
I liked it. It's cool.
It was hefty too.
Dude, it's all freaking metal.
Yeah.
I think that was the model that came out of that Smith & Wesson. I think that was the one that came out right before the SW9VEs, or you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Ones with the really crappy triggers. I think those were the ones. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know there's a lot of people listening that would know. I think that's the model that came out. The SW9, whatever. That was the one they got in trouble with Glock.
Oh.
There was like a lawsuit because they were supposed to be like light Glock or something like that. I think
not
that was.
familiar with any of
I
that.
think that was them. I could be totally wrong. But then after that, they came out with the M&P line, and that's where they stand today. So, which is not a bad line.
Yeah. They seem to run pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. Trying to think, was there anything else crazy in the class gun wise or different? I won't say crazy. These are typically just carry guns, but like anything on your end.
Not that I can think of. Everything. I mean, a couple 22s.
Yeah, we always got the 22s, and we had the Taurus TX22 step in to save the day once again. That gun does nothing but save the day.
It did work. You know, when she got to shoot her carry gun, her 9mm.
How did that go?
It went well. She it seemed like she really enjoyed it because it was the recoil impulse is different. It's a little bigger explosion.
Right.
And, yeah, she had a big old grin on her face. I was like, you should have been shooting that the whole time.
Yeah. So she brought this woman has never shot before,
Right.
and she bought a 9mm shield.
Was it an easy?
Easy, yeah, it wasn't easy. And you know, when I was trying to show her how to, she didn't shoot at the very beginning. I was trying to show her grip, trying to show her all the ins and outs of it with that grip safety.
Right.
The ins and outs of the grip safety, because that can be a little tricky if you're not careful.
Yeah, we went over that too, just because if you don't, it's not
and
gonna
if
go
you're
bang.
shooting, it goes bang bang, and it doesn't. Take your finger off the trigger before you readjust your freaking grip. Have you?
Oh,
So you don't know, yeah.
No, I've never
So
messed
what
with
happens? What happens is you got to have that. Obviously, have that grip safety depressed. So people shoot it, bang bang, it loosens up, right? And so they go to retighten their grip. And I've seen them leave their finger on the trigger and use that for leverage when they tighten up.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, if that happens, your finger comes off the trigger, you then tighten your grip, and then you can put your finger back on the trigger when you're ready to fire again. Because they go like this, and then the gun.
Right.
I've actually had someone do that, and I've had the bullet didn't leave the range, but it went to the very top of the range. And you only make that mistake once, right? Yeah. And then it's on your brain. So that's just when you're here. I'm sure you'll be here helping me again in the future. That's what I tell people who have shields, right? Because
that's something I had never considered before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a niche gun, and so it's a specialty gun. We all know that. And it's made, that grip safety is made to be extra safe, but it's also made to help a person who, teach him how to grip the gun correctly. But if someone already has strength issues to begin with, right, they're going to shoot it 2 or 3 times, and it's probably going to loosen up on them. Their grip's going to loosen up. So you got to be careful with that. But I was too afraid. She was a little shaky at first. And I was like, you know what? We're going to start you with a 22. You need to understand how to do everything first. And so even though this is a decently mild recoiling gun, 22 is going to be a better go around for you. So she shot it the whole class.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made her more confident to pick it up and shoot it at the very end.
She did. She was doing really well on their own at the end. I mean, we weren't messing with her at all. Right up to the line. And
yeah.
Yeah, and then by the time she went to shoot that, I mean, her first shot was right down the middle of the paper. So
yeah, so I don't know. It's better to ease people into it. And then her husband had a gun. It was a SIG P365X.
Yeah, it was like a little bit of a custom deal.
I don't know what it was. It said had a sticker on it that says Custom Works.
Yeah, it had some slide cuts in it at the front.
And gold barrel, gold trigger. Yeah. So it kind of looked like a performance center, but it wasn't a performance center.
Right.
Because usually they'll say performance center on them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It shot pretty well for him.
Yeah. Needed a little oil.
It needed woo. I'm not picking on the gentleman, but I mean, we're just going to call it out here. That sucker, I don't think it had any oil on it. Like
Yeah, it was pretty dry.
It acted like it had never seen any oil. Like when you grabbed the slide, it almost like squeaked. Like it was bad.
Yeah. It needed,
Did it change a lot once you added the oil?
He said it seemed to shoot better, especially when we were doing the triple shots. So
I'm sure
he
it
said
did.
It cycled so much better.
I mean, you could hear the metal like rubbing together. Like it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
It was
interesting.
Pretty freaking dry, dude. So that was pretty wild. And then the lady on the end, the gal on my end, I think her name's Lisa. She's in my women's class, and she's got a little tiny. What's the little Glock? The little teeny tiny Glock.
43?
No. This is back in the early days, like a 26 or the little short double stack with the grips like that long.
Ooh, yuck.
20s. I don't know what it is. I forget. I don't know all the freaking Glock model numbers. She's got one of those that she does not like.
I can see why.
And so I introduced her to the platypus because everyone needs to be introduced to the $2,000 gun.
Yeah.
Right. And she likes it. She's been shooting it every class, and she requested it. It's just, she wants to get one, but sometimes you got to save up for that stuff a little bit.
Yeah. You've got some expensive taste lately with your firearms. So.
So I feel almost ashamed now. I know that is the last one I purchased.
Was it?
Yep. It's go big or go home. Dang it, Magnum. He got me into this.
It's all his fault.
He got me into this world, and I'm ruining people every class.
Yeah, every concealed class. It seems like somebody gets to shoot it, and then they're going to buy one.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. So I was going to say, and what's unique about her, and I'll just point this out because it's kind of a fun fact. She is actually Canadian, and she actually, I think, how many days? I want to say it's like 110 days. She gets her citizenship here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. So I tease her about being Canadian, and they're like, what'd they say? Someone in class like, well, she's just really nice, and I was like, she's fixing not to be. She's going to be an American in 110 days.
Right. That's part of the citizenship, part of the sign up.
Yeah, you got to show how big of an asshole can you be. Prove your worth.
Right.
So we did that. But there's, we had a couple things. I had a couple things that showed up on Facebook, on social media, right? We saw that there is some Republicans that are standing in the way of that suppressor bill, right? That one's called the Hush Act or what it's called exactly, but they're standing and it essentially would do away with the $200 tax stamp on it, right? To make it so you could go in and you could actually just purchase it. Now, I did have a guy tell me, he goes, I don't think most people that buy suppressors really care about that extra $200. Like, I think they'd still pay it. They just want to be able to buy it and walk away with it that day. No, I'm not sure. I am not sure if that is a true statement.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is too, because if I can
one person that's excited to pay tax on anything.
Well, if I can save $200 on a $700 or $800 item,
yeah,
like wouldn't you jump on that?
Yeah, I can buy $200 worth of ammo.
Exactly. So I think that there is. Well, I know that there is a group of Republicans or a couple of Republicans or whatever that
knows.
Yeah, they're keeping that in what they call the Ways and Means Committee. And I'm really afraid that when it comes, granted, I will say this administration is doing some great things. There are some good things going on that were way better than our last guy, right? I 100% will say that. But I've been saying this for a while, and I know it's irritating people, but I've been saying this for a while. This administration is not as Second Amendment friendly as you think they are. And I know you listen to the podcast, Jeremy, so you know I've been saying that a lot. But they are not. I mean, they've done nothing as far as being Second Amendment friendly, really. They have not. Yeah, we heard about national reciprocity. Yeah, we heard about suppressors. Okay, they're blocking the bill right now.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It's going to be
you're a Republican and you're pro 2A. Then
2016 all over again. Well, I think where we had control of everything, we could have done something, and guess what? They're not going to. I don't see them doing it. As much as they've come in and rattled cages, and Doge has gone in and cleaned house and fired people and all this stuff, which kudos, I love that stuff. I mean, I think that was fantastic. I'd be lying if I said otherwise.
We should trim some more fat.
Like trim more fat. Do something. Get rid of the ATF.
Yeah.
Get rid of, and if some people like your job, right? It helps with, you need some of that stuff for alcohol or tobacco, whatever.
The ABC is kind of helps regulate that though too. So if that moves over to them, then
right. But just get rid of the firearms part of it.
Yeah.
You put in people to get in there and say, and I'm just stuck on this because it pisses me off. You put people in place to get in there and create a committee to get in there and root out unconstitutional laws. There's been nothing but crickets. You can't say you're going to do, well, I guess you can because it's happening. You say you're going to do that and everyone goes, oh, yes, they're getting them in there. They're going to do it. They're going to take care of it. Crickets. For 2 months now, 3 months. Crickets. Absolutely nothing. So are you telling me that nothing in there is unconstitutional? That's kind of the message I'm receiving. The message I'm receiving is that the people in charge, the president, they don't see anything in there unconstitutional. You can't tell me that they are in there saying that and then turn around and say, but he's pro Second Amendment. Because he's not. He's not. Maybe for him, but he's not for us. He's the president of the United States. There's lots of stuff he can get in and do. Like, he's not afraid. The dude AI'd himself looking like the freaking Pope. I'm really, he's done some good things, but he can do whatever the freak he wants to do.
Yeah.
Right? He rounded people up and sent them home. I agree with that. Illegal. Get him out of here. He did that in the face of everyone that said, you can't do that. You know what he could do? You know what else he could do? He could go ahead, and even though I don't agree with it, he could go ahead and make national reciprocity. You know what else he could do? He could say, we're going to take suppressors off that deal.
NFA, just
off the
do
NFA
away with
status.
all the NFA stuff.
He could do that.
Sure could.
But he has not done that.
I'd like to see at least a little bit. You know what I mean? Like they were supposed to be combing through, and we had Kash Patel in the FBI, and
and I thought that was good though. It was Kash Patel went in the ATF for a little while, right?
Yeah, he was FBI director, and then they gave him the ATF to deal with too. And apparently that was too much, but I didn't hear about any real shakeups happening.
I wasn't under the impression that it was too much. My thoughts were, okay, so this is good. He's going to not really elect anyone. He's going to give him that as well. He'll be in charge because he's going to go in and just break it apart.
Right. Just be done with it.
And that's what I thought would happen. And guess what?
Nope.
He didn't do that. He put some army guy? Some army general or something in charge of the freaking ATF. That's who I want in charge of the ATF, the freaking military guy. Yeah. That doesn't seem right to me either. I'm so sorry. That just does not.
We don't need that.
We
don't need the ATF at all.
No.
Or at least the F. We can get rid of the F in the ATF.
Yeah, there you go. I don't care what you do the rest, but get rid of the freaking firearms. The F, the FFF, the freaking firearms.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to get rid of the freaking firearms. We want to get rid of the firearms part of the ATF. Like, we don't need
all the regulations.
All the regulations. Like, that's just nuts. I was talking about that. I said a phrase, I made a statement on Facebook of, I don't have it in front of me. The Republicans push gun control on the federal level, on the national level. Mm-hmm. Okay. But, Democrats push gun control on the state level. And I think that statement actually makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
Right.
Right? Because if you think about our Republicans locally, yeah, they're all for it. They're all for the gun rights, but it's our Democrats that fight hard against it, right? And that push things, or the rhino, the guy that's really not a Republican. And so I think that statement makes a lot of sense. I had a guy on Facebook, and I don't know, maybe this guy listens to the podcast. He probably does. And I just kind of gave in. He made the statement of, we live in Idaho. We're a sanctuary state.
Right.
So national laws, anything unconstitutional does not apply to us. And I went, I get what you're saying. I know where you're coming from, but you're wrong.
And I hope that it's right, but I don't want to be the guy to test it.
I think that's kind of what I said too. I hope you're right, but I think you're wrong. And what he's referring to is back, I want to say it was like 4 years ago, different counties in Idaho, and I think the whole state might have done this too, but different counties in Idaho came out and they signed a, I'm going to look it up real quick because it's important. It's important that I get the words correct. Does that make sense?
I think this was kind of around the COVID time or just after COVID when
they signed a resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were also we were going through a phase of like signing resolutions against mask mandates. And, and I think they kind of kicked firearms in there with it too. So
they did. And so I know Twin Falls County, where I live, and a bunch of other counties came up with a resolution, a Second Amendment sanctuary resolution. It's a resolution. It is not a law. I bang stuff around here. There are differences, okay? For example, a state law establishes general rules of conduct for the entire state. A resolution, they're less formal than state laws. They deal with temporary matters, while state laws are permanent. There's big time differences. If it's a state law, it's taken care of at the state level, not at a county level. Okay, it's taken care of at a state level, and it is voted in, and it goes into law on July 1st every year. Like, that's what happens. This does not do it. This is a resolution. And this gentleman brought forward an article or a chunk out of an article. I didn't see the whole article, and I'm not saying he's wrong. He truly thinks this, and I'm trying to say, if he listens to the podcast, I hope he does, because I really think he's wrong. That some news media reported on this when it happened and said it was a state law, and it's not. They got it wrong. It is. I talked to a law enforcement officer that had in my class today and asked him about it and said, if someone was doing this, is this like we're a sanctuary? Like, he goes, yeah, we're not though. That's not a law.
Right.
Like, if you want the resolution to work, you have to hope and pray and keep your fingers crossed. The local sheriff and your state representatives, being your senators and state representatives and governor, will stand up to the federal government when they come in and try to regulate a bunch of this stuff. Right. And I don't see that as happening.
I mean, depending on the county you're in, I think that, we've got some good sheriffs out there that actually care about the Second Amendment, about individual rights. But I mean, Ada County, I don't know. I'd be a little scared.
I think
Boise City.
And that's the resolution he sent me. Actually, was Ada counties. Mm-hmm. And what you're going to do is you're going to get funding. You're going to get threatened for funding, right? That's what they're going to do. Okay, well, we won't fund you guys. Yeah. You don't get any federal funding for any of this stuff. Like, I don't know. You got to be real careful. It's not law. And so just don't get those two things confused. Like, it baffled me why this was keep track of what's going on. I seem very kind of, if he's listening, I apologize. It seems really narrow-minded. You heard one thing that you want, and that's what you stuck with.
Right.
When that's not the truth. In fact, I stated, test it. Test it. Go build a suppressor. Actually, you know what? Go purchase yourself a Glock switch. Use it. Tell everyone about it. Let me know how that goes for you. And then report back to me, and I'll put you on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
It's not gonna happen. Like, it's just not gonna happen. So,
well, and I think it's a little bit of a fine line, dangerous mentality too, where it's like, hey, we're fine, we're in Idaho, but that's when if you start to kind of, I don't want to say I guess bury your head in the sand and be like, oh, we're good. That's when they sneakily start chipping away at our rights, and that's when pretty soon those same things wind up on Idaho's door, and
that's when we're Washington State. That's when we're Oregon.
Yep.
That's when we're Colorado.
It happens little by little, and then all of a sudden you're hosed.
And honestly, it's been happening little by little for the last the last 4 or 5 years. It really has. I like Idaho. I don't want Idaho to go away. I don't want Idaho to change for the worse, but I am worried. I really am worried. I look at the fact that we talked about that on the national level, that suppressor bill. Well, we had 4 or 5 gun bills for the state of Idaho this year. I can't remember. Maybe I'm just don't remember. I'm not thinking. I don't remember, or my memory's not good. But we had 0 gun bills passed in the state of Idaho this year. We had no bad ones, but we didn't have anything new passed.
Right.
Nothing
We didn't have any
updated.
good ones either.
No, they were all held by one guy who was a rhino, right?
Yeah.
We were all held by one guy. That guy had the power. He held them. That doesn't bode well for us, like in the future. Like it just does not. I get worried. In fact, I said this on the radio show the other day. I was like, you know what? If we end up being Washington State, if we end up being Oregon, guess what? I'm just going to move to the coast because who the freak cares at that point? I'll move to where I want to if we're all going to be the same.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll go to the coast.
Makes
I
sense.
will live up in the freaking hills somewhere and I'll do whatever I want anyway. I don't know what else to say. I mean, but you're right though. I think they're chipping away here. I think we got to be really, really, really careful. Because we could flip overnight. Like it won't take too much. Like it really won't.
There's enough blue dots in some cities right now, or some blue cities that permeates outward. And
Yeah, and it won't even take. All it takes is Ada County, and a couple of the other counties around there, and pretty soon they control the entire state. I've talked about this before. It's just like King County in Washington. It's just like the whole Portland metro area in Oregon. They control the entire state. It doesn't matter what everyone else wants. There's enough people right there that they get done whatever they want. Everyone in the rest of the state could vote, and it probably it wouldn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's a scary thought, really.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I mean, and you got to think too. They've got all the states around us. This was pointed out by my co-host on the radio show. Washington, Oregon, and Colorado. All the states around us, not Utah, not Wyoming. Like we're the next one. We're the next one, and it's not just people working from the inside. It's people working from the outside on Idaho. We're the next one. They're slowly taking over the coastline.
Right.
I mean, or the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah, and they've done some passed some pretty unconstitutional stuff in Colorado recently too, with semi-automatics, I think.
Yeah.
And then the magazine limitations, and
the semi-automatic. Well, I have to look that up, but yeah, that's pretty nutty. But I mean, we're the next one on the list, man. We're there. And honestly, do I want to go down this road? I'm kind of getting away from firearms here. I don't know. I'm thinking if I want to go down what I would. I'm trying to be a better person, Jeremy. I'm really trying to think about what I say, and I know that's going to make for a boring podcast. Like, what did that crazy jerk say again? Like,
Is this like tinfoil hat crazy?
No, it's not tinfoil hat crazy, but it's not good either. What I want to say, because it's going to offend a lot of people, or it's going to bring a lot of people like telling me I'm wrong, and it could affect business. It could affect all kinds of stuff. Okay, well, I'm going to say it. You knew I would.
Yeah.
You knew I would.
I didn't even have to push.
No, I push myself because I'm alone a lot and I'm in my head a lot, and I feel like I need to tell people. Okay, let's go. Okay, buckling in here. So the way I look at it in the state is the Republicans that we do have, they do some good things. I always have to start with that because I got to give credit where credit's due, right? But I think this year, they focused on a lot of things that we don't really need to focus on. And I think it's their holier than thou attitude as far as pushing a lot of things that I don't think passed at all, but they're trying to push like prayer in school, read Bibles in school, do this, do that, which they didn't need to focus on when they could be focusing on other things, other things that are more important that are bigger, right, in that scope. Instead of trying to make everyone go to church, because church is not for everyone. You do what you want. If you're into that thing and you're into church and it makes you a better person and it makes you happy and it soothes your soul, then by all means, you do you, right? But you can't push stuff like that. Like that's choice. You can't do that. Let's focus on the task at hand. And a lot of our local representatives, I didn't hear any of them talk about firearms. I heard the only people I heard talk about firearms, right, was the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, and that's their job. They are a what's the word? That's what they do. the people that go in and like try to get him to
Like
take
lobbyists or
lobbyists.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're a gun lobby. I mean, that's what they are. That's what they do, right? Now, granted, that Idaho Second Amendment Alliance put up posts that said Glenita Zeiderveld she said she'd back this, or so and so over here said he'd back this, and great, that's great. But those people never talked about it.
Right.
They never posted about it. They were on radio talk shows and never once mentioned it. But I heard all about the Bible reading in schools. Like, I know that even the gun stuff's not important to everyone. And I totally get that. There may be someone who is really into the church stuff, and that's fine. And they're saying the same thing I am, just differently right now.
Right. The other
But
side of it.
I mean, do you get what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, the Second Amendment protects all the other.
It protects that stuff.
So I think it should almost be the first. But hey,
So those people that we just voted in locally, yeah, they're doing some good things, but are they really doing what we want? Are they really for the people? They're probably doing some of what we want, just like the President Trump is doing some of what we want, but he's not really doing what we want. Like, what is the deal, man? What is the deal?
It's all crap anyway.
I'm just gonna move to the coast. I'm
Both sides-
selling everything.
Both sides suck.
Dude, in July, I'm taking a trip, my 30th wedding anniversary. I know people are like, don't go there. Don't do it.
Where you going? You know what?
I'm
There's
going to the-
coast.
I'm
You
going
could go
to-
to the Gulf of America.
Oh, God. That's the way. See, there's that too. He did that. That means literally nothing to anybody.
Right. Yeah, nobody cares.
Nobody gives a shit about that.
It's a weird hill to pick a battle on, but
When there's other hills that he could pick that battle on.
Yeah.
It's weird. But no, we're going out of town. We're going to go for like a week. I'm going to the Oregon coast with my wife for the 30th anniversary. And I'll be 100% honest, I love the freaking coast. I love the Oregon coast. Is my favorite place on the freaking planet. Like, it really is. My wife's like, we want to go out of town. Let's go to the Oregon coast. She's like, we always go to the Oregon coast. Freaking love the Oregon coast. I do. And man, maybe, I don't know. I don't like their politics in Oregon. Like, I just don't. And I couldn't do my business over there.
no, you couldn't.
No, I couldn't.
Well, in certain counties, you'd be okay, but
Right, but man, I just want to disappear. I just want to disappear and just call it. I'm going to wait it out. We're going to see what happens. I'm not moving. People don't think I'm moving, but I don't know. We'll see what Idaho is. I think Idaho is going to change over the next 2 or 3 years. I
hope not.
really, really think Idaho is going to change over the next 2 or 3 years. I really do.
I mean, I think you're right, but I hope not.
I think we're taking a turn. When I was a
Slowly
kid,
have been, but I think there's also my wife gets to talk to a lot of folks that come here from California that are like coming here for the politics, and leaving behind the crap that the state is, and you know they come here for the reason of the politics. You know what I mean? And they don't. Oh, that's me making noise.
It's okay. It's okay. This is like we're a professional podcast.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, they're worried that because we're getting also it's cheap to move here from California.
That's what,
and it's hurting a lot of things. But you know, and then you get the other side of it, and you get the more blue people, I guess, moving here as well, and they go to Boise, and so it could turn. Pretty easily.
I've had people move here. I mean, come up here, take classes, and I'm from California. I'm like, cool. If you're here for the right reasons, that's absolutely fantastic. And a lot of them will tell you why they're here, and then they'll also say, you know, it's what I thought it was, but there's more to it. They're like, you guys. More than one couple has come and said, we came up here to retire. We wanted to be free, and they're like, we're renting right now. I don't know that we're going to buy a house because I don't know how much longer you guys have.
That's
scary.
Yeah,
I mean, that is scary. I've been told that a lot, and I kind of see that coming. And then, like I said, you look at the gun stuff this year. There wasn't much, if any. There wasn't any, as far as I know. Oh, I got to sneeze. I'm trying hard not to. There wasn't any, and I don't know. Is that a bode for the things to come?
I hope not. Who knows?
It makes you wonder a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. This turned into a freaking depressing podcast.
Maybe India and Pakistan will kick off World War III and it won't matter anyway.
Yeah, I'm moving to the coast. I'm gonna at least have a beautiful view for a while.
Yeah, we have a beautiful view to watch it burn.
I'm gonna live in a tree house. I bet that doesn't cost much.
I don't know. I guess if you know how to build. Maybe
You ever
not.
read that book, My Side of the Mountain, like when you were a kid? Really?
I don't.
This kid chiseled out this tree and he lived in the trunk. There you go. That's my future. That's my future.
I'm sure your wife's on board.
Yeah, she'll follow me anywhere. Oh, what a weird podcast this has been.
That got interesting.
I don't know. I'm frustrated, man.
I get it. I don't know what anybody can do about it. I guess keep voting, keep going. Keep voting on a local level. Keep your
voting.
Ear to the ground and pay attention to what's happening.
Pay attention and don't sit back and go, "This is Idaho. It'll never happen here." Because
we're safe. We're good.
Because honestly, it's happening. Like it is happening. Yeah. Right? Do what you can while you can. Try to stop it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to quit. This is a depressing podcast. I think we're going to just call it good for today because now all I can think of is my future plans to move if things go south. To move if things go left.
Right? I mean, you can move south. I wouldn't mind. There's still some free country down there.
I'm going to go to Canada. I hear there's a spot opened up since that one chick in class is moving down here.
I mean, I don't know that that's much better.
I know. Alaska, the final frontier.
There you go. Yeah. Alaska's great.
Stuff is getting a little weird, though, because did you hear that in Hawaii they were trying, I forget exactly, it was some firearms bill that they were trying to pass, but it was voted down by, like, it was a bad firearms bill. Like, they wanted to take more of your rights. They're like one of the worst second A states in the country, right? And it was actually stopped by Democrats.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Things are taking a weird turn, man.
Huh.
Like you just sit back and watch it, right? And the price of admission is high gas prices. That's.
I did notice. I had to fill up today, and I did notice that they had gone up a little bit.
Oh my gosh! I bought this Subaru thinking I'd still like a half tank. I'm like $50. Like it's freaking insane. It's insane. But okay, we're just gonna stop. We're just gonna stop here because once I start digging, I can't stop. I'm digging that hole. But thanks for coming out and helping today.
Oh yeah, for sure. Always fun.
I did appreciate it. But I tell you what, if you like the podcast, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. Share it with everyone.
Might get a good divided crowd.
Yeah,
today.
yeah. You might, if you want your family to hate you, share the podcast with them. Tell them you believe in everything that I have to say. But you can find it anywhere that you find podcasts. Other than that, I'll see you guys in a week. Bye.
Goodbye.